My name is Lauren Wyatt. I am advocacy lead for Black Girls Vote. Black Girls Vote is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that focuses on empowering women to utilize their voice by using their vote. We're not associated with any political party. And we focus on women ages 18 to 25. Black Girls Vote is most known for their creative voter engagement and mobilization initiatives, but outside of outreach and stuff like that, we also have BGV advocacy. So BGV advocacy focuses on the 4 core areas of education, economic development, healthcare, and voter mobilization. Black Girls Vote started in 2015. Our founder and CEO, Nikija Robinson, she was, just going through a time where she, as she says, something was pulling at her and she just didn't exactly know what. And she wanted to do something but didn't know exactly what she wanted to do and how she could do it. And there was a man that was killed in the vicinity of her home, and that's when she said, I'm going to go after the policy. But before you go after the policy, you got to get people engaged and you got to get them registered to vote and you got to get them involved in the entire process. So Black Girls Vote was launched in 2015 at a high school in Baltimore City that was very near and dear to her. And that was the beginning of Black Girls Vote, and 6 years later we have registered over 16,000 voters and we have grown to over 40,000 followers across all social media platforms. Over the last year, BGV Outreach has created various initiatives, most importantly, Party at the Mailbox. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but Party at the Mailbox was born amid the COVID-19 pandemic. So as cities were shutting down across the country and people were transferring to this virtual environment that we are all so used to now, BGV said to ourselves, okay, this is going to create a problem in the voting arena. This is going to be a something, right? So we said, how can we create something that's fun, but also gets people to the polls and kind of counters this problem? So that's how Party at the Mailbox was born, and we prepared over 2,000 boxes for Baltimoreans and had treats, voter education materials and shirts and things of that nature just to get people involved and encourage them to get their vote to the mailbox, which at that time was the only option. You had to get to the mailbox. So we had so much success in Baltimore that Party at the Mailbox gained national attention, and it went on to cities such as Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and most recently Richmond. So that's one of our biggest outreach initiatives that we've been doing this year. As far as advocacy, our largest thing was our Women's Civic Health Report. And what that report did was it just surveyed Black women voter engagement, and what the results of the report showed that Black women are turning out in high numbers. And whereas we've kind of known that, but what it also showed that we weren't focusing on the policy. So whereas we're turning out and we're voting, it's not showing in the policy. So it highlights the need to start advocating and saying, hey, after we vote, then what? Now we need the policy to align. Now we need to show up at those town halls, because people aren't going to knock on your door and ask you to come to the town hall meeting. You have to be proactive. We have to, go out there and say, this is what we want, this is what we need, and make it a community process as it pertains to the policy. Informed voters feel more empowered, because when you know what you're talking about, when you know what you're doing, you feel more comfortable participating in it. So as things were changing amidst the pandemic, we were posting on social media updates. For those of you that don't know, the Student Military Voter Empowerment Act was recently passed, which puts voter coordinators on each campus, just little things. What is changing on the day-to-day? Because some folks aren't asking about these things. It's not being posted on their doorstep. So definitely focus on the voter education piece and making sure that voters are informed about changes and things of that nature. Because like I said earlier, it's so much more than just voting. It's quite easy to register to vote and go to vote. But in order to create the change that we want, we have to get people involved in the policy and in the process, and understanding that it's not always about what's going on down there in DC on Pennsylvania Avenue. It's important, but we also can focus on the local aspect. And if you care about what's going on with your schools, if you are frustrated that your kid doesn't have a school bus and they're getting, whatever the case may be, these are things that you do have control over. You can talk to your local Board of Education. You can attend these meetings and insert yourself in the conversation. And then if the person that you voted for, if they didn't deliver X, Y, and Z by ABC amount of time, then you do have the option to say, I'm not going to give you my vote again. because it's kind of like it's a deal. We've supported 3 bills that were passed in the last legislative session. That was the Student Military Voter Empowerment Act, the place of a BODE bill, which established that I believe in 2024, folks that are running for office will have to be living within that district or the area that they're running in for 6 months prior. And the corrections bill that established that once folks come home from incarcerated, they will have to be provided with voter registration paperwork so that they can be able to participate in the voting process. If you go to our website at blackgirlsvote.com, we do have a section for how you can get involved. As far as just like memberships and stuff like that, we're looking to roll out a membership platform before the new year, so that's something that we're super excited about. So I don't want to say too much about it, but that will be a new way for people to join. But another way to support is just donations. We are a nonprofit organization, so these events and these initiatives that we are organizing around the community, they come from grants and they come from donors and people that are passionate about this work as well. So when you see our events, come out, repost them, share them on Facebook, share them on social media, pass the word around, screenshot it, put it in your group chat, whatever may have you. We're boots on the ground, so we appreciate, hands-on. And if you see anything interesting, you can always email info@blackgirlsvote.com. If you say, hey, this is something that Black Girls Vote needs to be looking into, please send it our way. So yeah, I would say that's just the best way to get involved. I became familiar with the organization through a colleague of mine that went to school in Maryland. And I've just always kind of been interested in politics. It's been my passion. I feel like the way to create change is you don't always have to be the politician. You don't have to be the person running for office or the loud person, not to say that they're loud, but you don't have to be the person that is always heard. You can be the person in the background that is shaking tables a little bit and saying, hey, this is how we do it. So it's just my way of giving back. It's always been a passion of mine. I'm very passionate about the Black women agenda, and it's not just about Black women, but a lot of the things that we do help Black women, especially as it comes to health care. So I have those particular things that speak to my core, but in general, it's just service. I like seeing the people around me uplifted, and I don't care how they look. So it's just important to me that as a whole, we try to figure out how we can best coexist and how we can best make everybody, feel good and get this thing done.